Welcome back to another episode of Grow in the Shower. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button down below.
Normally, I say make sure you like and follow down below.
Usually you do say that. I'm sorry. I'm sure. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I stole your shine.
That was my part. I've been rehearsing, dude,
I'm
for
sorry.
20 minutes. That's what I've been waiting for.
So, our last video was about Dexter and everything wrong with Dexter. And I think after watching the last season of Dexter, I kind of had a void in my heart. Uh, and I just wanted to fill it, right? And you've been telling me to watch this show on Netflix for a while, and you were comparing it a lot to Dexter, and I just didn't believe you. Mainly because I always thought this show was basically like a stalker version of 50 Shades of Grey. Just like
Yeah.
this really romanticized, like dominatrix stuff, I thought.
Oh, I did too. When I seen everybody talking about it, like, oh, he's so cute, he's a stalker, and everybody was like, you can't idolize stalker. And I was like, oh, this is not the kind of show that I'm interested in.
Yeah, but
I don't
you
want to see a dude stalk women. And then I found out after watching it that that's exactly what I want to see.
exactly. So there's 3 seasons out, and I think I binge watched the first 2 seasons in like 3 days.
Yeah, dude.
Um, it was that good, So I thought we'd sit down, kind of just talk about that, because it kind of intrigued me, all the similarities that I saw in you that you would see in Dexter, from the title to their similarities on how they do stuff, and also their differences, because they are very different as well.
Yeah. No, I mean they're very similar. The tone of the show, the inner monologue. Um, it's kind of like I told you. You is definitely like it'd be like Dexter if he never had Harry or something.
Sure.
And just stumbled upon killing people and the obsession that he has for finding love is like the obsession that Dexter has with killing. Right,
Yeah.
makes him feel whole. Um, but yeah, even how methodical they are, everything. I mean, you can tell they took a lot of likeness to it. You
No,
know.
and oh well, they even like pay homage to him in one of the episodes. They bring up Dexter, and um there's something else they do. I forget what it was, but there was another homage to Dexter as well. And but I just thought it was super interesting because like it's that same pace that you saw in Dexter, of like, you got this guy trying to live just a normal life, but he's got this darkness inside of him, and he does a very good job of acting normal in the real world, but then being pretty much a grade A serial killer out in his free time. And it's kind of interesting because Dexter is a little out of the realm of possibility, right? That's not necessarily happening. There's not this crime scene guy who's out there killing 200 plus
For
people.
sure.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But
But like a
with
stalker, I mean, I know that you yourself had to, you were going through some legal actions about a stalker case where you were doing a similar type deal, but he takes it to the extreme. It is more realistic because, my best friend went through it. Um, but yeah, it just,
I would never. But no, I think it's more realistic. I was talking to you after I finished the first season, and I was like, that was a really good first season. I thought it was a really great pilot season. Um, Comparing Dexter's first season to Joe's first season, um, or I'm sorry, Yu's first season, you just felt very real, and like that could actually happen, right? I thought the ending got a little weird, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm gonna blame it all on the therapist and everything, which
it's
I
still kind of Dexter-esque.
yeah, I feel you, but I even told you, I was like, bro, even circumstantial evidence would get Joe locked up. There's no way, with all this evidence and everything, that he wouldn't be connected to that in some way. But
Like, the main thing is I remember the cop that writes his license plate number down and just calls the shop and like, oh, phew.
yeah,
The private eye would have found that out.
oh yeah,
If he
there's
would have found out that the dude was driving the car that was up there, that was registered
yeah.
to the guy that owned the place that where Joe worked at. I don't know. They did a good job about like just like Dexter, where Dexter was a sociopath, right? He was a
Mm-hmm.
psychopath, however you want to call it. Um,
Both.
yeah, he was murdering people because he felt that he needed to murder. But they did a good job of making him feel so human and like he was doing it for a righteous cause. And they do that with Joe. Joe is
Yeah.
100% wrong. He is stalking people and
Yeah.
killing. He finds things that it makes you feel like
It's
he's in the
right.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and to a degree, I don't want to victim blame or anything like that, but he
and
is
this deserved it.
yeah, some of
Is
the
that what you were about to say? Yeah, she fucking deserved it. She
yeah,
shouldn't have cheated on him.
no, and I don't, I'm not saying people deserve to die, whatever, but like it's definitely to the extreme of everything, right? But you feel it and you're like, oh wow, like every time he's cheated on or he catches this act or whatever it is, you're like, dang, that is something that you could be mad about or frustrated about, and it's something that most of us have dealt with in our real lives. So you feel that, and then you're like, yeah, I thought about just fucking clobbering someone over the head before, but you just don't act on those things, and it's crazy to see this guy like go out and act on them. Now, Joe's just a bad killer. If you want to talk about the main difference between Joe and Dexter, Joe is sloppy as fuck, and he doesn't even kill everybody. He just hits them, freaks the fuck out, and he's like, I think I killed him. The only person that I would even, the only kill that was even Dexter-esque was that Jasper character in season 2, the mafia guy or whatever,
Yeah,
that
where he stabbed
cut
him.
off his finger. Yeah, and he stabbed him, chopped his body up, put him in the
Which
meat grinder.
honestly, that scene was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Where he just like was all like, "Yeah, come here," and then cuts his fucking
That
finger
was
off.
crazy. I wasn't
That was
expecting that
dope.
at all.
And he put it in a bag. He's like, "If you get
Yeah.
there within 12 hours, you
Yeah.
can put your shit back on.
No,
Anyways, if not, peace out. You ain't got no fingertip."
no, I definitely thought the second season of you kind of drifted off from the realm of possibility and reality and everything, but it was still a form of reality, right? You could still
Well,
see some
you
of that
haven't
stuff
watched
happening.
season 3 yet either, so
Yeah, I started the first episode, or got through the first episode, and it doesn't matter. Y'all can spoil shit. I don't give a fuck. But
well, you have to get past that because this it doesn't pick up quick. It's not like the other
oh,
seasons where
I'm
it goes
sure.
off. Yeah.
Um, but I think the crazy similarity between the two is the sociopath in them, right? Where I think New Blood did a really good job of showing this as well. Dexter loved Harrison. Dexter loved Deb. Dexter loved a lot of people, but Dexter would have left them behind, killed them, or whatever he needed to do to be safe and alive. Like he would have. I have no doubt that he would have killed Deb or anything like that if it meant his freedom. Um, at the end of New Blood, obviously he was just willing to die, and he was letting Harrison do that. But that moment before then, he was willing to just take off on Harrison right there. And Joe's pretty much the same way. Like he loves this person, and he loves the idea of a person. Because one thing I've noticed is everybody's broken. Beck in the first season was a disaster in her life, and he just loved this version of her. And then same thing with Love. Love even called him out on it in the season where it's like you were so focused on this fantasy version of me, you didn't see these other things. So like both of them would leave that person though. I even think, and you don't have to tell me if I'm right or wrong here because this is just me theorizing. But going into the third season, he's already in love with someone, or he's already fantasizing about someone else. You know, I just feel like no one is going. You've already given me a couple clues as why I think that. I just don't think anybody's going to survive in this season, female wise, just because it's just going to be like, well, I just need to get out of here. And I think he's just going to kill everybody. Or love kills people. I don't know. But it's one of those shows where it really goes into the sociopath of their personalities, meaning like, I'm willing to kill people just to stay free or not get caught or whatever it is.
Yeah. No, definitely. Um, yeah, I mean, Joe, I mean, his biggest thing is that he needs it, like I said, in a different way. He's not trying to kill to where Dexter is, and that's why he's sloppy at it. Because the biggest difference is Joe does all of his killing out of impulse, and Dexter is very meticulous and like if Joe killed the way that he stalked girls,
Yeah, true.
he'd be a great fucking killer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
he'd be
true.
so good. But he doesn't put the time into that. He kills them out of necessity, not or not really. Like really, yeah, and to say he has to where Dexter has to, but in a different way. Like he has to, or else he's gonna go insane.
Well, I thought and kind of the same. You saw that in season two, where like you think that Joe's working on this stuff not to kill people and not to stalk people, and then you realize he was stalking Love from day one, and that's why he got the apartment. That's why he got the job, and
Yeah,
I
because
thought
he
that,
walked by a place and seen her.
yeah, exactly. So it's just telling there, but
I think one of the biggest differences too is that Joe pulls bitches. You know what I'm saying? He gets the girl. Like he fucks all the fine bitches. Dexter doesn't care about that, but like he has like his game is so weak because he doesn't know how to talk to people.
he
To
still
where Joe,
pulls.
yeah, not the same way. I mean, Dexter is like every scenario he's in, he doesn't know how to be human.
That's
Joe
true.
blends in 100%. Like everywhere you go, time he goes to a party, whatever, he can blend in like nothing's happening while in the whole time being in his inner monologue. Basically saying how he's putting on for him and stuff. To where Dexter, like, whenever, like, that's why he was so many people called him out for being weird. Nobody really did that to Joe.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
there's a few. There are been a few people. I mean, like the parole officer called him out. He kind of knew he was weird, and Peach kind of knew something was up
but
without
but I don't think either of those were really because of him. I think it was the parole
m-
officer called him out because
meddling with other
he
things.
was
Yeah.
meddling with
Yeah.
his business, and that's why he was saying that because he was in there beating and fucking this dude's mama up, and he's talking to him in the hallway.
No, I get that for
Peach
sure.
just didn't want that Beck girl to have a boyfriend, period, because she wanted to have her all to herself and do
Very
weird
true.
stuff with her. But Dexter, he got caught every time someone got a real keen eye, they'd call him out like Dokes and yeah, he just couldn't blend in well. That's why people thought he was weird. So when he met someone that had that sense to them, they immediately knew that something was off with him. Joe, like I said, he was just kind of the master of disguise. He just wasn't as intelligent as Dexter when it comes to you know the process.
Somewhat. I think the main similarity in their process is the needing to find evidence of guilt, right? Where Dexter's looking for guilt of murder or whatever it may be, them being, serial killer. Joe's looking for evidence of them
Well,
just being bad for the person he's in love with.
but actually, I like that you said that because they're both looking for instances of guilt, but for two different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Dexter is trying to find guilt so he can justify killing them,
Yes.
where Joe is trying to find guilt so he can justify not killing them. Like he's trying to
Somewhat.
figure
Yeah,
out how to
somewhat.
not kill him. Every single time he's tried to find something to let them go, or like how do I not kill you?
Because I think what's very telling with Joe is like the one person that he should feel the most right in killing would have been Dr. Nicky, right? And he still didn't kill him. He sent him to prison pretty much and framed him for the murder of Beck. And I think that probably was his plan all along. I think he knew that was his like because the thing about Joe is like there's always there's a lot of red herrings in the show and you think you know something and just from his inner monologue we think we know what Joe's thinking, but with a lot of shows it's not a reliable narration, right? Because it's coming from him, it's not coming from other perspectives. That's why we miss out on everything with that's happening with Love in the second season. um but I just like that they did that. I like that they both look for this evidence of something to do so. Oh, with Dr. Nicky and everything. That was like the one person he should have done it, and he didn't. He had this whole plan about it, and there's been other people he should have killed, but he didn't as well. So I think that's the big difference between the two. Um, you think Joe's gonna kill someone? Like I thought he was going to kill 40 several times during the show, right? It just always seemed like, okay, here we go. This is where he's going to get into his crazy way. And he still didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, even the dude, the first guy, I forget Jasper, not the Jasper, but the other
Will.
guy. Yeah, oh yeah, his name Will. Uh, Even him, I thought for sure he's got to kill this guy,
No, that
and he
shows,
didn't. He let him go.
and it shows he does have some type of empathy or whatever it may be in him where he does want to change. And, I think that interaction between the two Wills, Will and Joe, in that the beginning of the second season was telling to show that, like, hey, I know you're a good guy and I know you don't want to kill people, even though he ends up still killing people. you
Mhm.
know, he's like, I know you don't want to go kill this Henderson guy. He's like, I'm not. I'm just gonna go get him to record a video, and then he ends up killing him still, you know. So it's just kind of funny. But I think I think Dexter and Joe are a great adaptation of what a modern day serial killer is in, the 21st century. You see,
I think Joe's probably a better example.
no, for sure.
'Cause like you said, Dexter's a little unattainable. Like in order to do
Yeah,
that, you'd have to have someone to teach you from a young age how to successfully kill that had a firm understanding of crime scenes, and you'd have to go to college to become a forensic analyst to work into a police department and all. It's just that is so unobtainable. You're right. Joe's is much more realistic on what a serial killer would be in today's time.
I agree.
Someone that is kind of methodical, but also kills a little sporadic and then tries to cover it up.
Well, it's good because a lot of his killings are just, oh shit, it just had like, for example, the peach time where he's just jogging behind her, and obviously, once again, an unreliable narration, so you don't really know what he's thinking or what he had planned. But when he's following her, it doesn't necessarily seem like he's about to attack her. But he starts thinking, and he's getting madder and madder and madder, and then he hits her across the head. Those are one of those moments where, like, okay, that's probably what a killer would do. It's just you stalk someone, and then you end up attacking them, and then they end up being alive, which is funny. You know. But anyways, I thought the first season of You was just truly, truly good. Um, I wasn't attached to any character that, eh, you know, eh, even Beck, I hated her at times, just some things. And credit to the actress, like just the things that she was doing. I was like, this fucking bitch, like you messing with my boy Joe right now. Like he's just trying to love you. Why are you just doing this to him?
Yeah. Well, they have that thing. It's kind of like how we were talking about like Dexter. If Dexter just didn't kill people, he would literally be the best detective
Oh
in
yeah.
the world. Like he could
Well,
catch people constantly. And
he's a
Joe,
little too
if
smart.
if Joe didn't do what he did, if he didn't stalk girls and like get all, he could literally just get any girl that he wanted.
Hmm.
He's a good talker. He's like really good to them. He does things like
He reminds me of
on
like
paper, he's perfect,
a
except for that whole killing people.
I wanted to make a video just talking about how I love these two seasons. And I think if there was anything that was going to be similar to Dexter, it is You. Now, saying that, going to the third season, just from what I've seen from the first episode, it seems like it's way different. Even
Uh,
like the
the
directing
first
seems different.
No, the first 2 seasons, that's where that gets that Dexter feel. Third season doesn't have it. The first 2 because you lose that there's I don't wanna give too much away for you, but there's outside things that happen. He loses that kinda he
I'm
can't be that stalker. He can't be that devoted serial killer, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, he's got a family. I'm sure other outside perspectives start to play into to this. And it seems like I said, I'm
He's from a
only
really small town. It's not like Dexter where he's in a huge city. I mean, think
yeah,
about the one time Dexter killed in New Blood. And like that was the death of him
yeah.
because it was such a small town. Even though he thought he got away with it, it came back on him.
Hmm.
Um, and he kind of goes through that, but it's a very the third season's a very different show. It's a very different season.
Well, I know there's gonna be one more season. I think that's gonna be the last season. That's probably gonna wrap it up. At
Yeah,
least from what I've been reading.
I think
From
they should. From after the third season, I think if they ended it at the fourth, it would be a very. It would not. It wouldn't suffer the same thing that Dexter suffered, where carrying it on too long
Sure.
without having. You can only put him realistically, and Dexter had this problem forever. How many times can you put him in these scenarios and expect that he just gets away?
Yeah, exactly.
They
Yeah.
get a little too crazy, and that after the third season, especially, they put him in like Joe is in so many fucking weird scenarios that like there's no possible way. Like there is no storyline that makes real sense that he could just continue to get away with this.
Hmm.
It's blown up past that point.
No, and I think you see some of that in the first and second season. Because, like I said, even without physical evidence, there's enough circumstantial evidence to lock this man up. Like it's just crazy. And that I think that's the one thing that I wish they would get more into, and they somewhat do, is like with the social media stuff, with like the tracking of phones and like track my computer, you know what I mean? They start talking about it a little bit more in these type of in You and stuff. So like that's why it just seems more
Yeah.
plausible.
Well, but again, wait for the third season because they
Okay.
go into all that shit, and then you start seeing like how the fuck could he possibly get away with any of this? Like it
Yeah.
would have to come back on him. I mean, the second episode or season, I mean,
I
it was
really
a little
liked the
more.
second season.
It was really good, but it was like a little more believable on how he could get away with the shit.
Sure.
The
I
first season, it was kind of shake. It was cool to watch, and it was a great season. But it was still like towards the end, like you were saying, it's like there's so much evidence against him. Like, how did none of her friends put two and two together? Like,
yeah,
oh, this guy
exactly.
came into our lives, and everybody we know has disappeared
Hmm.
that he was around, or had anything to do with the girl he was dating.
I think
So
that's
stuff like
the main difference between Dexter and Joe as well. Where, don't get me wrong, some of the stuff ended up getting close to home with Dexter, but most, like, Trinity, stuff like that. But most of the time, his killings were so far out of the realm of close to his, real life that it didn't matter. Obviously, the first season, you had the ice truck killer, it being his brother,
yeah,
and
there's
stuff like
always one, but in you, it's everybody. He's
everything is
close to
connected.
everybody.
Exactly. I feel like everything is
Where
connected.
Dexter's killing people that have nothing, they're not associated with him, is what
Exactly.
you're saying. Yeah,
No,
like they don't.
exactly.
There's like these people don't know Dexter. All these people know him. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, even starting from the first kill that he had, which was I forget the guy's name, but the rich dude he locked up that was dating Beck. Um, he did Joe
Benji.
at first. Yeah, Joe didn't even think he knew who he was, and then he kind of was like, "Oh, wait a second, you were the dude in the taxi cab," and like, there's no way he could have gotten away with anything,
Mm-hmm.
with those people.
No, exactly. And don't get me wrong, Joe's smart. He reads books. He's obviously smart. Who reads books nowadays? But Dexter is a literal genius. He finished top of his class at his school. He worked in blood analysis stuff for years. You know how fucking smart you got to be for that shit? So,
What they should have done, and this would have been the ultimate mashup, is they shouldn't have killed Dexter off, right? And they should have had the fourth season at the very end. He's like walking into an apartment after just meeting a new girl, and you see a fucking shot in his neck.
that
Next
would
thing
have
you
been pretty cool.
wouldn't that be dope as fuck?
That
Next
would
thing
be
you know,
pretty
he wakes
cool.
up strapped to a table with like a
No, no,
picture
no.
of
Don't.
Beck and all that
Yeah.
shit around.
I don't even think you need to show all that in the show like that. Just and everyone would lose their mind. They'd be like,
Wouldn't that be fucking
"What?" That would be crazy.
or just like that, and then wake up and you just see him plastic wrapped to a table, and then it end right there. That'd be cool too.
And then another inner monologue takes over.
Yeah,
It would be kind of cool. You're right.
that would be so cool. That would have been the perfect mashup. They missed their opportunity on that. This is why I should write shows. Not shows, just endings. I
Yeah.
want everything that you ever watch to connect in some way.
Well, I definitely want to continue the U talk. I'm gonna watch this third season. Obviously, the fourth season will come out sometime near the end of the year, so I'm not gonna just binge watch this third season like I did the first. I was just so enamored by the first two seasons that I had to get through it all. But I also want to find some other shows. So if anyone in the comment section wants to drop some suggestions, please do. I'm all into those type of shows.
I've been trying to tell you to watch you for a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I always thought it was a certain show, and I was like, I knew I wouldn't like the version of the show I thought it was. You know
I
what I
know.
mean?
Well, I told you I thought the same thing, and then I watched it. That's what I kept saying. It's like whatever you think the show is, it's not. Because like
Well,
I kept telling you like it's very similar to Dexter.
as there are way more romantic aspects in you than there are of Dexter, you
Sure.
know.
Well, that's what it's a hit.
Sure,
That's what this thing
but when
is.
you watch previews of the show, it almost hyper focuses on the romantic side of it, and then it's like, boom, but I'm a stalker, and it's like, oh, so it's like a
And
stalker
it's
version
not
of
like a
50 Shades of
stalker.
Grey.
Like yeah, they make it seem like he's like a okay stalker, not like a hey, I'm breaking into your house and stealing your panties and
Yeah.
jerking off across
Oh
the
my
street.
God. That's my favorite part of every season so far. Whenever they do
Stalker.
that, because they've done it at least once in every season. You do him with Beck when he. I just gotta talk about it. It's funny. Well, in the episode, like in this episode, like that, you know, because I remember each so vividly. He sees Becky's on the stairwell doing it, and then you have the neighbor guy walking out. I thought that was super funny. With Love, he's like, "Oh no, I'm just not trying to have a girlfriend." because each time he imagines them like
Yeah.
having sex with
And
him.
she comes in and she just starts
Yeah.
making out with him, like,
Yeah.
oh damn,
And
she's
then,
getting to it. And then you see him jerking off, like, what?
and then in the third season, he's in his car while she's
Yeah,
like shopping or something like that. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so funny. He's done it in every season now. So
he
it's
just
just,
jerks off.
yeah.
He's just well, that's what I'm saying though. That's the funny part is like as much as you like the guy, you have to keep in mind this dude's jerking off in the street, fucking
Well,
uh crazy. Like it doesn't make sense, man.
thanks for checking out this episode, blah, blah.